Greetings everybody, I am LoBo and welcome to episode 45 of my Minecraft survival series where I am trying to navigate our garden center in reverse with the camera flipped backwards and we almost made it. We almost made it. Okay, well anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's episode, okay? So I've been going around here and I've been talking with the villagers. I've been like, what can we do to get you out of the windowsills? You seem kind of aimless. What do you need from me? And the consensus is pretty unanimous, really. They all say, huh? And I take that to mean, Robin, he's trying to climb the tower. I take that to mean that, hey, we need more structures here. We need more buildings. And coincidentally, we have plenty of room for just that right over this way. So I think what we're going to do for the villagers is we're going to build them a building, a structure of some kind. What it's for? That's yet to be decided. Well, I kind of have an idea. But that, as far as you're concerned, that is to be decided. The name of it is to be decided. But I do have Watchdog up there because what I think we're going to do, since we've done a lot of building the structures together and then time-lapsing, I think we're going to flip it today. I think we're going to go ahead and put on some music, get this structure built, and then we'll meet back up. Welcome back, everybody, and we've done some sketching, we've done some outlining, a little bit of planning, not really, of the buildings, yes, buildings, as it turned out, that we're going to be working on today. As you can see, they're not complete, not by a long shot, but, they're a starting point, there's something to work off of. We've also got this thing right here, which is going to be like a fountain or monument or statue or just something. It's going to be something, and just because we don't have a clear idea of what all this stuff is going to be, what we're going to do is experiment today. I didn't initially intend for this to be two buildings. I wanted one building up here, and it just ended up being so small that we ended up constructing the second. So right now, we're going to do a very experimental episode with details and trying to figure out how not to fall off a ledge. Anyway, like I was saying, today's episode is going to be about details because, as you can see, there are none. So we've kind of played around a little bit in the front, trying to get an idea of what we're going to be doing around here. But the thing is, I still don't know Oh, as you may have noticed, I have all these chests over here that were right here, which I had to move inside. This is our little temporary storage area for right now. These things are just full of all the stuff we collected while we were tearing down mountains around here. So we're eventually got to find a home for this stuff because this place is not going to be its home. But there's so much stuff. So as far as details go, what I want to do is experiment around with these buildings right here. And, you know, I want to try some new stuff. And that means that there is a high probability that these things won't end up looking all that great by the time we're done. But that's okay. It's a risk I'm willing to take because, you know, we have to try new stuff. We have to try to get better at what we're doing. So let's get right into it. As you can see here, the highlights are stone brick variants, which means we need to do something about this back wall here because that cannot be stone brick. So what I was thinking was, and let's go on over here and we can look at my little block palette. This is like what I was initially like picking the colors from, and we ended up going with the light gray terracotta, which again is not light gray. But anyway, what I was thinking was, but for the bottom wall where it's now stone brick, since we're going to be using the stone brick highlights, for the bottom wall, I was thinking we can maybe do the light gray terracotta and see how that works like as the main wall, you know? I mean, there's other options, you know? We could maybe do the gray concrete powder. I keep saying terracotta, concrete powder. We can maybe try something else in here. I think this might be a little too dark though, but it is an option. In either case, what I want to do real quick before we actually get started, no, I think we're going to go with the light gray. Before we get started, I want to go collect some more terracotta because I am out of my dyeable normal terracotta, and maybe get some gravel and sand to make some more concrete powder while we're at it. So I came all the way out here, and then I went all the way back to Luna to grab our travel beacon, and then I came all the way back here again. I think we're actually going to leave it here this time because now we have another beacon that we can use as a travel beacon. So I'm going to go ahead and collect a whole bunch of this stuff, even though we don't need a whole bunch for today's project. I have been using a lot of it lately. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a bunch of this. Probably not the yellow. We'll probably stick with just the regular, maybe some of the white. But yeah. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of this stuff, and then I'm going to get a little bit of this stuff. Oh, that's cool. And probably a little bit of this stuff as well. And now that we're a little bit better prepared, I want to find a block that I can use in conjunction with this. So I've kind of been experimenting around, and I think the safe bet right now is acacia. We've used this combination before, and I think this works. So we might be able to add a little bit of acacia to this build as well. So if we were to do something like this, putting this into practice, if we were to line the edges with acacia, and if we were to take out our pickaxe and get rid of the stone wall that we initially built here, we could maybe put the concrete powder back one block, make it a little bit recessed, and then work some details in front of that. Then it's going to be kind of hard to work our windows and doors into it, but let's go ahead and get it in place while we're just trying to see how it's going to look. And I think we're just going to do a section at a time. You know, we'll get one section done, then we can kind of see how it looks, and we can maybe start replicating it around once we have a general theme. And I mean, it's got potential. Now, taking this a step further, we'll go ahead and start adding our concrete over here, and we're kind of working in like the windows and all that stuff. So I think what we're going to do right here, you see, I've already got this kind of sketched out a little bit. We'll put our glass in here like this, and since we only really need concrete over the glass because you're going to be able to see it through the windows, we just put those on top of there. We can save some and not have to spend as much as we really should. So let's see. If we can see, yeah, it needs a little bit more detail, but I mean, we're off to a good start. So maybe what we could do is just take our trusty cobblestone wall that we use all over the place to put in front of concrete and terracotta to kind of dull it down a little bit. And we can put that in front of here. And we also need to go ahead and put something up there to block that off. And we can see how this looks. And you know, this is something we're not really being as adventurous as I thought we were. And I'll even like that anyway. Maybe some oak fence. Maybe oak fence is the way to go here. So that'll add a little bit more color to this as well, because this is kind of gray. It's very gray. It's kind of lacking color. So maybe oak fence is what we need in that spot. So, you know what? I'm going to step away from this for a minute. All right. So I just went ahead and moved on to the second floor exterior. And you know what? Now, I can't help but fall. that is what I've been doing all day. It's what I do best. I can't help but fall. I think we are on the right track with what we're doing now. I think we still need to put a little bit more work into it, but I think overall, like, we're getting there. We're on the right track. We're slowly working our way up to what this should be. I mean, yeah, it's still missing something, but we're almost there. Almost. Now, we've talked about before how I have a tendency to over-detail builds, and I've been trying to pull back, but I think with this particular build, because this is going to be a place for our villagers to hang out, not really hang out so much as get some work done. It's going to be a place for our villagers. I think we're actually going to run with the details on this one. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna play around with this and kind of have some fun with it today. But that might actually be a little too much. Yeah, maybe pulling back was the right idea. So, I mean, we can still keep that same concept, but without the cobblestone walls, we could tone it down some by just using stairs and half slabs, I think. So we'll just do stairs like that, and then we'll do a row of half slabs over top of them like that, just to have a little bit of the back wall showing through here. Yeah, we'll see how this looks. And I think that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Okay. All right. So for the roof, I already have the outline in place, just the front general outline of it. And it's kind of short. So we're going to have a peek at that as soon as I clear out these slime blocks. I want to have a peek at like the whole side of this building without a bunch of lime green in the way. So as I was saying, the roof that I put in place is fairly short because we want these buildings to maintain a certain size. Like, we don't want any of them too big. We don't want them dwarfing the buildings around them. So I think this is a good size. I think this is a good size, it's a good shape, and I think we're slowly getting to where we need to be. Now, working with diagonals isn't something I'm super comfortable with, even though we've been experimenting around a lot with it lately, and that's purposeful. Like over there at the House of Leaves and our city wall over here, like I've been doing a lot of diagonal stuff lately because that's something I definitely want to improve at. And I know that to get the corners to look right over our door, we're going to need to come out. So let's go ahead and hop up here and we'll maybe come out right here. And let's go ahead and start building this out a little bit. And how I want this to be is I want this to be very similar to our city wall, kind of in the way this is ultimately going to look. So I'm trying to remember exactly how we did that. I think we just came out pretty much like this. And then we can go ahead and get rid of that. We can put this right here. Actually, you know what? We can probably stand to go ahead and build this up a little bit more. We'll put one more on there. And then we'll get rid of this, and we'll probably need to, yeah, we'll get rid of this right here and do the same thing on the other side. And then we can throw some stairs in there instead and kind of bring that up. And I think that should be really reminiscent of what our city wall looks like. And this is non-spawnable. This should all be non-spawnable. That's something else we want to consider heavily before our villagers start migrating over here, is we want to make sure we don't have zombies falling on their faces from up high, you know? So I think this should work for the doorway at least. Yeah. Now, we want it to look similar to the city wall, but not exactly the same, like not just a miniature version of the city wall. So we got to think of ways to differentiate this a little bit. I think that works. Yeah. So what I was thinking we could do right here is maybe add some oak stairs in here just over the doorway, because we want to use oak as an accent block to this as well. And for the top of that, we can go in here, we can grab some oak wood slabs, and we can try to throw those in over the top to kind of seal that area off if we can manage it. If we can manage it. Okay, here we go. And we can see what that looks like. A lot of this is me doing stuff, then going back, and you get this backward jumping shot. And then we're probably going to get another one. I mean, that's what a lot of this game is for me, though. It's building something and then stepping away from it and looking at it. So, I mean, that does give you a good representation of what this game is for me. It's just like trying different stuff, backing up, trying something else. You know, I think we could probably roll with that for right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and move upwards. Now, we don't have a whole lot of room in here to play with, so this part should actually be fairly simple. We can just go ahead and get like a nice little diamond shape in here. We can probably stand to go ahead and make the bottom the same as the top, just kind of mirror that, put a little window in here, and I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, that's easy enough. We do need to go ahead and make this whole thing non-spawnable though, because we got that block right there. So let's go ahead and take a slab. We'll put that in there. And yeah, I think we're good as far as that goes. So moving on to now to the roof, we can kind of figure out what we're going to do up here. So I kind of want to find where the acacia is right there. So that means it'd be right here. So yeah, I think what we can do is not put a stair there. We want a full block there. I need to grab a full block. And then we can go ahead and bring the acacia up as far as we need to have this work, you know? So we'll probably go ahead and bring this all the way up here just for now until we figure out what we're actually going to be doing. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play around with this for a minute and I'll be back in just a little bit. Now, since this is the front of this building, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the roof peak fairly high. So we're just doing a stair. And then on the other side of that, we'll have an upside down stair. And then on top of that, we'll have a full block. And then we'll do the same thing again, a stair, and then an upside down stair right here, and then a full block. I have completely messed that up. Wow. Okay. Here's something I don't understand. Like all the villagers like to press their faces into walls. All the mobs seem to like to don't go anywhere. All the mobs seem to like to press their faces into walls as well. I don't understand the AI. Like, you know, just running face first into a wall and trying to proceed forward. All right, so full block, stair, upside down stair, full block. I've done it again, haven't I? I've done it again. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and get it's this side. It's got to be this side. It was that side. It was that side. So after some trial and error, I think we have the general shape of the front of our building, our front diagonal. That went so fast. That hurt my feet a little bit. Okay. Well, I think now we have the general shape of the front diagonal portion of this building pretty much laid out. So a lot of the rest of that is going to be mimicking the same style that we have in place already. So yeah, I think this is looking okay. This is a good starting point. So I think now we're safe to go ahead and start moving on to this building right here. Now, a lot of what we do with this building, which is our main building, this one is one I wanted to save because I wanted to do our experimentation with that first building that we did and kind of have an idea established before we moved on to this building, because this is going to be basically variations on a theme. I was to do 4 redstone lamps, like 2 above each door. I think what we could stand to do though, what might be better is if we just center it on this 3 block area right here instead of over each door. So we can probably get away with 2 instead of having to use all 4 of them. That might actually look better. We are going to have to change the orientation of that stair. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and just do this together real quick. We'll go ahead and put that in there, and we're going to need to power those, and maybe that's going to get really annoying. So we can probably stand to go ahead and power these lamps directly, because the floor of this balcony is actually going to be a full block above that. So we got plenty of room to play with here. So I think what we can do is we can go ahead and get rid of these torches. As we start building and getting areas non-spawnable and lit up, we can go ahead and get rid of the torches so they're not just spamming everywhere. We can go ahead and seal that off and put our sides up here. I'm not sure what we decided for the sides from our first building. I have to go back and take a look at that, but this falling is really getting to me right now. Now, moving on to our windows, I think what we can do is put a block right here, and we can put a stair on top of that. And you'll see I kind of have it stepping down. So it's taller up there, and then it gradually gets lower as we go more towards the center. I'm just going to hang my head and walk away right now. Oh, man. You thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. I'm done. All right, so I've worked my way up to the top of this building. We spent so much time on the other building that I didn't really have a lot of time to kind of walk you guys through this. But like I said, it's just variations on a theme. And, you know, at the beginning of this episode, I said we were going to go heavy into the detailing. And that's kind of what I did as we worked our way up. I think I might have gone a little bit overboard. We will see. But, you know, we'll just have a peek at it. We'll kind of decide what we want to do from here. Oh, yeah. That is super overboard with the details. I think we're going to come back to the building. I think we're going to go ahead and work on the monument or fountain or whatever this thing is going to be right here for the time being until I figure out what I want to do with the main building. So yeah, I think what we're going to do right now, like, I'm going to reshape this. This isn't going to be detailing. This is going to be more reshaping. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this off camera. And I'll come back to you once we have a general shape for this thing and kind of figure out, like, I think I want it much taller than it is right now. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this for a minute, and then I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. All right, so I said I wanted it taller. It is now much taller, tall enough to obscure our view of the building behind it from the front, but that's not something I'm worried about. And I'll explain why that is a little bit later. But I think that is the general shape of what this thing is going to look like. I'm not too happy with the block palette. Like, I don't like it just being all stone. I think we need to work some other stuff in there. So yeah, I need to kind of figure out like what we want to replace all this with, you know? And thinking about our block palette, we have used a fair bit of this light gray terracotta, I'm realizing. Like, we used it in here. We've used it on one of these towers, that tower right there. And now we're using it to do a big portion of these buildings right here. And like, while I don't have a problem with the color, I don't think I want this to be like the main color of our business district, you know, because right now it's on a lot of buildings. I think what we maybe need to do is kind of entertain some different blocks instead of the light gray terracotta, which is actually kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, like what color it actually is. But I have got some options here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take out some of these, and we're going to replace them with our other options, and we'll come back here in the daytime and see what we think of each of them. So as far as our other options, what I'm thinking here, we have the bone block right there in the center, and we have the white terracotta on the left. I'm actually leaning more towards the bone block at this point because that gives us other options. You know, we can start messing around. Let's go over here. We can start messing around with like using the bone block and quartz in this monument, fountain thingy, whatever it is right here. And we can actually kind of change up the block palette and do more interesting stuff with it. Like, this is just experimentation. Don't take this as like the final form of this thing. Like, this is just experimenting with it. But I think doing that, replacing the light gray terracotta with the bone block, would give us a lot more options. That does, of course, mean we are going to have to make a quick stop. Excuse me. Oh man. Okay. That does of course mean we are going to have to make a quick stop and get some bones and quartz. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab a bunch of you guys and perhaps a few of you guys as well. And then we'll come back home and we'll stand on our little platform here with our fortune pickaxe, spin around a few times in circles, and I think we should almost be good to go. And now that we have our supplies in hand and we have a general idea of what we're doing here, I think we should go ahead and put on some music and let's try to get this thing done. Look at this guy. He thinks I'm AFK. I'm not surprised. No, I was getting Watchdog logged in for the third-person time lapse. And this guy just decided to try to take me out. Okay, now let's go ahead and put on some music. Welcome back, everybody. I just need to get rid of some of Watchdog's scaffolding here. He just leaves a mess everywhere he goes. But yeah, I may have bitten off a bit more than I can chew with this one. Like, we have this building kind of, it's there. That's all I'm gonna say about it for right now. It's there. It's huge. Like, you can see it from the farming district. You'll be able to see it from the residential district. Like, this is gonna be a big building that you can see from multiple areas of our city, like over walls and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm not completely happy with it. I don't know. I'm not in love with the way it looks. So I don't know. Let's head down here real quick. We'll kind of walk through some other stuff we did, like this area right here. Like, I actually did enjoy doing this area right here. This is what links our business district and our farming district. I think this turned out fairly nice, just leads right out this way. We'll, of course, have to make the transition a little bit smoother, but coming through this way, this will lead us to our monument thing right here, which again is not something I am completely in love with, to be honest with you. Like I told you, we're going to be experimenting a lot in this episode, and that's what we did. So I don't know, we'll leave that there and see if it grows on us or not. But it is, like, it's fairly huge. And the reason why I said earlier that it doesn't matter that it's blocking the front of the building is that our road is going to run in front of Dunder Minecraft. So our road is actually going to come this way. So you'll be approaching the building from this angle, most likely. And that's going to be the view you catch of it. So it doesn't matter the monument's there. I didn't even get to touch this building right here. Like I said, I bit off a bit more than I can chew. We had a couple massive projects going on today that, I just wasn't expecting to actually have. Like I said, I started this episode thinking we were going to do one building, but the road is going to run up this way. It's going to come inside here. It's going to lead to the inside where we have a bunch of doors. This was to keep our villagers happy. It's going to have a bunch of doors leading out to balconies and stuff like that. And the road leading outward is going to come out this way, and it's going to go through here into our waterside district. Now, I kind of don't want to leave this like this, Like, I'm at the point where I don't even want to carry the aesthetic over to this building. Like, this, I don't know. I think what I'm going to do real quick is go through this and try to make some changes so that way we can leave on a slightly more positive note. You need to be quiet. Okay, so since I don't want to change the overall structure of this, I think what I'm going to do is simplify the block palette using oak right here. So I think we're going to make the whole roof oak, get rid of all the dark oak, and we're probably going to add some railings and stuff like that in oak just to make it tie in a little bit better. I also want to detail it a little bit, get rid of some of the buttons and stuff like that that's in the way. I'm going to watch what I'm doing and try to keep an eye on it because I got Watchdog perched up here. So he's going to help me kind of figure out what needs to go where and what needs to come out of where. And hopefully we make some progress. Okay, so I've made a few changes over the past few minutes. I didn't spend long on this at all. I just made like some quick changes, and have fun getting down, Watchdog. I'm only hurting myself here. But yeah, I've made a couple quick changes, and we'll pop up here so we can have a better view of the changes I've made. Basically, an overview. I've simplified the block palette. When we did the roof, we got rid of all the dark oak completely. We replaced it with regular oak to try to simplify things a little bit. We ran regular oak around the entire building, the rails and stuff like that, just to kind of tie everything in together. And we got rid of some of the buttons and stuff like that, some of the unnecessary complexity that didn't need to be there. That could go, and it looks a lot cleaner now. It looks a lot better. It's still very complex, but I am enjoying it so much more. And almost. We almost got him. I really am only hurting myself when I do this. But yeah, we'll come back here next episode, but that is all the time I have for today. So if you guys have enjoyed this, please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. As always, though, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. I deeply appreciate it. I am LoBo, and I will see you guys next time.